Howdy everybody in YouTube land. Yet another weekend, yet another repair. So I wasn't initially planning on doing a video on this, but I figured it was too cool not to. So I don't have any footage of me tearing it all the way apart, and these things are a pain in the ass to tear apart. But anyways, so this is a Sony Watchman FDL-310, and to describe what was going on, the sound is really weak, and you could hardly see a picture, and it was real scrambled. So you can pretty much guess where this is going. So I took the boards out, and this is the LCD panel, which is pretty thick, and I think this LCD panel is analog. It certainly feels that way. But yeah. Anyway, so that had to be unsoldered because I don't know how this connector goes together. It's like some kind of compression fit thing, but it doesn't pull out that I could tell. So I just said heck with it and unsoldered it from the board. So this thing was a pain in the ass to take apart, and the front of this display scratches extremely easily. So got to be super careful, and I have not been. Anyway, so here's the top board that's on the back side of the unit when you first take it apart. And sure enough, we have surface mounted electrolytic capacitors that are leaking everywhere, including these lovely tantalum looking radial electrolytics there that are surface mounted that are leaking, just like what the Game Boy or Game Gear uses and stuff like that. So that has to be changed. And then there's another circuit board that's got the tuner and stuff on it, and guess what? We've got even more on here that we have to replace. So I had to unsolder that connector here, and the factory solder job on that was terrible. And the other side where it comes in on this board is just as bad. You can see the solder joint where it says 4 volts. And it was like that on all of the joints on this particular board here. So it was pretty bad. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start getting my cap list together and figure out what I need. And see if I have it. I should have some of them, most of them. I probably don't have them all, but I'll check. And then we'll get to recapping it. This is probably just going to be a quick, short little video. Unless there's another fault in here, then we have to do some further troubleshooting. But otherwise, yeah, this should be a pretty straightforward, pretty simple repair, we hope. There's no damage to the battery compartment from leaky batteries, so that's good. I'm using that to hold all of my screws because they're so small and easily lost. I already lost one, and it's the screw that goes through this dial string on that screw hole right there. But that's not a big deal. Okay, without further ado, let's get to getting a cap list together. I took the shields off. I had to use the desoldering gun and undo the 4 solder joints, 2 here and then 2 there. I took the shields off to the inverter just to see what's going on underneath. And sure enough, there's another capacitor under there hiding. So, yep, got to check everything. We've already got these 3 changed. There's a 2.2 that goes here. And there's 2 10s that go there. These are 10s at 16, I put 10s at 25, and this is a 2.2 at 35, and I put a 2.2 at 50 because that's what I have on hand. I don't know if the ceramics are going to work good in the signal path because of obvious reasons, but we're going to find out. So, but I'm documenting this in the video because I didn't get a list written down. I just pulled them out of my stash and I'm going them through them as I go along. So there's a 2.2 and 2 10s, and they were leaking and sizzling and all that fun stuff, so I had to clean all that up with the alcohol and the Q-tips. And we got a few more to get to, and then this board will be done. Actually, these were 10s at 6.3, and I put 10s at 16 in there, not the other way around. These two, this one was a 10 at 6.3, just like these over here. I replaced it with a 10 at 16, and this is a 47 microfarad at 6 volt, and it shows the polarity. I just used a 47 at 16 ceramic. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't know, but that's what I put in there. So now we've got to replace these. This is a 220 at 10. Funny, I just ordered some of these because of the CompuAdd machine. It turns out the same ones are used there. This is another 47. There's a 22 and another 100 microfarad at 6 volt, which I do not have in ceramic. I got electrolytic versions of those, so I'll use those. And then this board will be done. And I just realized this actually unplugs, because the way it looked in here, it didn't look like it unplugged, but it does. Oh well. I have to fix the solder joints anyways, but yeah, I unplugged it. I know I keep saying this, but I really need to start investing into some low profile caps, because I got a 47 microfarad 25 low profile I do not have. I did have the 220s on hand, so I put that, but I just put a standard 47 in there and bent it over, because putting a solid cap there gave me the clearance to be able to bend that over, so that's what I did. I bent that over. I got the 100 in there. This board is complete. There was a 22 and a 10 and a 100, a 220, a 47, and a bunch of other ones. So we're good. Now I can set that board out of the way. Actually, I got to put the shields back on, which I want to do that now. Put the shields back on, and then once I do that, I'm going to move on to this board, and then we should be good. Okay, so here's a good look at this board. There's a pair of 47s down here that I'm changing, and they're absolutely nasty. Once again, here's a 220 I don't have because it's one of those low profile ones. But I don't see any signs of leakage anyway, so I'm probably just going to leave it in there for now, and I'll change it later. But I do have this one at least. But yeah, we have two 47s down there. We've got a couple of 33s up here, another 47, a 100, a 2.2 at 50. This is a 220 at 10, which I have. Now, here's a 10 microfarad at 50, which I don't have, because I think my 10 microfarad ceramics are 35, so I'm going to have to come up with something there. And the reason why is because we have a 32 volt source, so that is likely the filter cap for that. But that's all the caps we have on this one. Now, this tuner module is too thin. I doubt it's got SMD components in there, although it's possible, but I somewhat doubt it. Anyways, yep, that's what we need to change now. Just documenting for the video. I'm starting down here and working my way up. Both modules have been fully recapped with the exception of this guy, because I don't have it, and this guy, which is a polymer. So I learned that these were polymer caps a while back, and anyways, so that's a polymer. Don't need to mess with it. I've very rarely seen those go bad, but I've seen it happen a couple of times, but it's very rare. I had this one replaced, and then I have this board done completely, so we're ready to install it. What I have to do next is I have to install the connector on, because I unsoldered it here from the display panel, so I got to solder that back on. And I'm sure there's a way to undo the clamp on that, but I really don't want to break it, and I don't want to take any chance, and it was just much easier to unsolder the thing, so that's what I did. Time to put it together and see if it works. I tell you, trying to get this antenna back in is fun, because there's a screw that has to go through here, through the external antenna jack, and threaded into this point there, which goes under all of that. So this is painful. So FYI. Got the circuit board back in place. I got the backlight connector plugged in. The only thing left now is getting this plug centered up and soldered on. There's a couple of pins here that come through those two holes in the circuit board, so I can literally line it up and get it soldered in there. Anyway, so I got to do that. I got the antenna in there. I have everything in there. I did manage to somehow lose a screw. I'm not surprised. So I lost a screw. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to solder this up, and before I put the back on, I'm going to put the batteries in, and I want to see what it does. Alright, well, here goes nothing. Let's get the batteries in. Whether they fall out or not, I don't know. I didn't put the brightness or contrast in there yet, so I don't know if it's even going to be right. Probably not. Let's see. Do we get any signs of life at all? We do. And it's loud. Hey, what do you know? I gotta get the antenna pulled out, but wow, it works. Alright, well, let me get this thing back together because it looks like she's good now. Alright, it's together now. Let's get the antenna out. Because I don't know how well that's gonna pick up a signal without it because it was kind of noisy. Alright. Antenna is out. Power on. Hue is crap. Turn the volume down. I can't turn my hue controls. It's all locked up. Ugh. I don't like these things at all. These things are crap. Alright, well, let me get it all adjusted, but it's coming in a lot clearer. I'd say it's working pretty good. The camera's making it brighter than what it really is. It's an early active matrix display, too. Alrighty then, so that's a quick little video, quick little recap job. All of the old caps over here, and you can see the wet spot that left behind. So yeah, we are functional. So I think that's going to do it for this video. It was relatively simple. Knocking everything over with the antenna. Relatively simple. So anyways, that's how you fix a Watchman FDL-310 if you have picture issues. So if you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. And hit the like, subscribe button, and until next time, guys, thank you for watching.